Not your keys, not your crypto. We hear this all the time as a catchphrase, so we're going to dive in and take a deeper look at what this really means and why people say it. Right after the news summary on the Exodus Crypto Recap. Welcome back, everybody. Last week, we saw the latest in a long line of exchange hacks. Upbit was hacked on November 27th to the tune of 342 ETH, BTT, and TRX, along with some smaller amounts of XLM, OMG, and EOS. All of these losses added up to over $50 million worth of crypto moved from Upbit hot wallets to unknown addresses or other exchange accounts. Holding funds on an exchange is always risky because it's usually not a matter of if, but rather when a hack will happen. Now, this is an inherent risk with custodial services over self-custody solutions. We'll revisit that in just a few minutes. If you're an Exodus fan, please make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. In other news this week, Bitcoin saw some wild short-term price action as we hit a weekly low price point supported by really low volumes and the price hovering around $7,300. Now, this is really interesting news. The Bakkt CEO is stepping down after being appointed to the United States Senate. That's right. The CEO of a major crypto player has been appointed to the US Congress. If you're not familiar with Bakkt, it's a federally regulated crypto market, providing price discovery from Bitcoin futures contracts and institutional custodial services. You know, if that sounds way over your head, don't worry, because Bakkt is not for the average consumer. I'll add a link to the Bakkt website in the description below if you'd like to find out more. This piece is not about the company, however. It's about the CEO, Kelly Loeffler's appointment to the US Senate that's significant here. This could signal a move by the US to increase its development of Fedcoin. Of course, Fedcoin doesn't exist yet, but it's only a matter of time as the US plays catch up to other countries who are racing for a foothold in the world of digital finance. Crypto now has an insider in Congress. Is this a good or bad signal for the future of crypto in America? Let us know what you think about this in the comments below. Since we took a week hiatus from the recap, we're going to pivot just a bit here and make our way back to the custodial versus non-custodial or self-custody conversation. The question is, does someone else have control of your funds? Or do you control them yourself? If you don't know the answer to this question, that's okay, and exactly what we're here for. If you have any money in a bank, that's what we would call a custodial solution. Let's say you deposit your paycheck into your bank, and then you write a check to pay a bill, or use your debit card to withdraw money at an ATM, or pay for dinner at a restaurant. In each of these examples, your bank either pays on your behalf in the case of writing a check, or using your card online to pay a bill. The bank receives a request and then transfers the funds from its accounts, then indicates on your account ledger the funds have been withdrawn. When you use your debit card at an ATM, the card and your PIN are proof that it's you, as far as the machine knows, who's making a request for the withdrawal and then distributes the cash to you and makes a record on your account. This cash you receive is not the same cash you put in, however. It's commingled with all the other bank's finances, and they only allow you to make the withdrawal. It's what's called a trust environment. You trust the bank to do what you want it to do in regards to your account and money. But what if they don't? There's always this possibility because they have control or custody over your funds. Now, what does a non-custodial or self-custody example look like? Imagine the actual cash in your wallet or pocketbook. It's physically there, and no one but you can decide what to do with it. You have total control to save it or spend it as you wish, and there's no third party involved with whom you need to check in on to make sure they're treating your funds correctly. There's a lot more to this, but on its most basic level, a centralized crypto exchange is like your bank. You deposit and withdraw funds, but ultimately, the exchange controls all the funds in their company accounts and only allows you access based on your individual account information with them. What allows them to do this? Simply, they control the keys, which allow them to access all the accounts on their systems. You may have an account number, but that's only for personal identification. They control everything else. Now, a non-custodial example would be Exodus or something similar, where the funds are stored at your own address in your own wallet, just like in the cash example above. No one can ever limit your access to the wallet because you have the keys that control the wallet in your possession. Now, it's not all rainbows and unicorns here. There are, of course, advantages and disadvantages to both models. For example, an exchange can decide, like a bank, to not allow access to your funds. Now, on the other hand, holding your own funds puts you at risk of losing them due to poor security practices. Another risk of using custodial services, which we referenced earlier, is the exchange getting hacked. In 2019 alone, there were 7 major exchange hacks, totaling up to over $158 million. At the beginning of the year, Cryptopia was hacked for $13 million and was never able to recover from the breach, eventually filing for bankruptcy. No customer funds were returned. Dragon X on March 26 was hacked to the tune of $7 million. No funds were ever reimbursed to the users. Just a few days later, on March 30th, BitThumb lost almost $20 million due to a hack. They said all these came from company wallets and no users' funds were lost. Then, the most visible hack of the year, Binance, on May 7th had $40 million drained from their accounts. What did they do? They shut down deposits and withdrawals for a week while they sorted out the security to their systems. Of course, they allowed users to continue to trade on their off-the-chain internal ledger. And all the customers' funds were covered by internal company wallets. But the fact of a $40 million loss was too much to ignore. BitTrue was then hacked on July 27th for $4.2 million, and their customers were only promised a refund. Next was BitPoint on July 12th for $28 million. The result was about 500,000 users were locked out of their accounts for over a month. Anyone who has been in the ecosystem for more than 5 years has certainly been affected in some way by the most famous exchange hack of all time, mt.gox, which, when it was hacked, was handling about 70% of the world's Bitcoin transactions. In early February of 2014, mt.gox halted all trading and withdrawals. They had lost over 850,000 BTC, or $450 million worth of Bitcoin at that moment. In today's price, that would equal over $6 billion in BTC, or about 1/4 of the total market cap. It's mind-boggling to think about. Now, imagine if all the banks in the world decided to suspend customer withdrawals. What fixes this? Non-custodial crypto solutions. Please leave a comment below to let us know what your thoughts are about custodial versus non-custodial solutions. In a cage match, who would win? And please be sure to hit the like and subscribe on the way there. Thanks for joining us on the Exodus Crypto Recap. We'll see you next week. Hold on.